Thanks so much for joining in. First, if you could tell us if there was any impact on account of demonetization. We understand that perhaps winter bookings that may have not have been affected so much because you would have pre-booked it prior to November 8th. But what about summer bookings? Is that going to be impacted? Will the coming quarters look a bit subdued? Take us through the impact of demonetization.
Okay, let me answer the various questions you've asked me, starting with demonetization. Like everybody else, we were affected by demonetization for a short period of time. But as you very rightly said, a lot of people had booked their holidays for the December quarter in advance of November 8th. I will also mention that as we got closer to December, we saw some of these bookings return, especially into Asia. Now, essentially, we did see some recalibration of the effect as far as bookings were concerned. Now, how did we manage? We did manage the profitability from 2 points of view. One, through acquisitions. Number two, the performance of Quest was outstanding. Number three was the fact that at Thomas Cook, post-demonetization, we actually clamped down on costs in a big way during the 2 months, November and December. So, we were able to manage our costs significantly, even though there was a downturn in revenue. Which admittedly was only about 6 or 7%, so we weren't affected too badly. As far as summer 2017 is concerned, I must mention the fact that bookings have come back to normalcy. We are now ahead of last year in terms of the number of passengers booked. We're beginning to see a lot of demand for Europe. US still is a question mark, you will appreciate. Given all the scares around visas and immigration, etc. But, we're seeing a lot of demand in Australia, Southeast Asia, and other markets. So my expectation is that the summer has, there will be a rebound and that we should expect growth over the last year. Now, do I expect 30 and 40% as we would normally report? I don't think so because, people are still adjusting to the process.
So can you tell me more about your resort segment itself? What was the kind of member addition that you saw this quarter and what's the expectation?
We saw a slowdown in member additions in the October to December period, and this was primarily driven post-demonetization. But what we did see was a growth in our hotel usage at our resorts. So, in terms of occupancy, we moved from about 61% to about 67% during the quarter. So in reality, I think that was a very good trend that we witnessed, and I think that trend continues. We did take some charges, use the quarter to take some charges in sterling to further clean up that balance sheet. But I think, from a cash point of view, the resort business is making profits.
Let me come back to the point about summer bookings. You said there will be growth, but not at the 30 to 40% that we've gotten used to from Thomas Cook. So what would be a reasonable growth rate we should expect just this year for your summer bookings?
I think given by current trends, our bookings are at about 8% over last year. But, my expectation is that bookings will pick up over the next 2 months. We should be in the 12 to 15% range, which I think is very reasonable given the uncertainties that prevailed. One, the terrorism issues that Europe faced last year, the visa issues that the US is talking about. I don't think it will impact the Indian market, but still, the constant flow of stories about immigration stopping different people has actually frightened a lot of potential travelers going to the US.
Well, we hope that that trend changes and more people, including people like us, get a chance to take more holidays. Thanks so much, Mr. Menon, for joining in and giving us an update.